On the plane yesterday, I watched a movie. One of the things I don't do that often on a plane. I love to do nothing when I'm flying. It's my quiet time. Nobody can reach me. My phone is not ringing. I'm not talking to anybody. But yesterday, I decided to watch this movie. And it was funny. It started with a little girl, very chubby, cute, sitting in front of the telly, watching, is it The Woman in Red? Who remembers that movie? I don't know if that was the title of the movie. I never know the titles of movies. But anyway, it was that movie. She was watching a love movie. And she was very fascinated by it. And apparently it's something she loves to do all of the time. And then her mother comes in, totally exasperated, jumps on the sofa and looked at this girl and said, "Why are you watching this crap?" And the girl said, "No, mommy, it's lovely, it's this," and all of that. And she said, "They're lying to you. It's not a love story. There is no love for people like you and I. You're not like her. You're not slim. Did you notice the gap between her nose and her lips is very short? She's beautiful, she's slim, she's all of that. That kind of story is not the kind of story that would be the story of your life." You could see the disappointment in the eyes of this young girl. She was probably about 8. And, she was quiet for a while, trying to figure out what her mother said. And then they went to age 25 of the same girl. Now she's an architect, a very smart architect, but chubby, she didn't care about how she looked, didn't care about dressing, didn't have confidence in her own skills as an architect, respected by the rest of the team at work, but had no respect for herself or love for herself and for the talent she exhibited in her skills, and definitely had no love for love. And there was a guy, one of her colleagues at work, who was totally besotted by her. But she could not even see it. She couldn't stand that the guy was always looking. She assumed he was always looking at the poster of a model beside her. But apparently, every time she turned to look, she saw him looking in her direction. I assumed he was looking at the poster. He was looking at her because he was so in love with her. Anyway, fast forward. This conversation with her mother shaped the rest of her life and her thoughts and belief in herself and in her capacity to find love, and literally destroyed everything that she could have been, except for a fortuitous moment that happened and stuff, and she rediscovered herself. But what's the point I'm trying to make? The power of influence. And a school is a house of influence. Every teacher has a word to speak, as every parent has a word to speak. A word to destroy or a word to build. A word to discourage or a word to encourage. My youngest son is 18 now. I saw one of his teachers, Miss Jimmy, there. And I remember when he was in nursery school, he was young. He was one of the youngest in their entire year group because he's a December child. And he had a teacher at that point who wasn't conscious of the power of words and said to him that he doesn't know anything. All he can do is write jaga jaga. And so when you say to my son, "No, you can't write this," he said, "Mommy, my teacher says I can only write jaga jaga." It was a battle. I had to go to school, and I know how to fight when I'm fighting for my own. And I fought, and his teacher was changed, and we kept on at it, and my son found himself. Are you conscious of the power you hold? As a teacher serving at Greenwood House or any house, as a parent with a child committed to your care, not just your own children, as an adult, as a boss, as a leader in any group, as a person who has the power to speak to the life of another, whether people who work for you through thick and thin. And sometimes you do not know the sacrifices they make just to serve you. But the words you speak build or destroy their lives. And the biggest house of influence is a school. For these innocent children, like a clean canvas, have come to the school to be poured into, to be shaped, their belief system to be defined, their faith in themselves to be destroyed or to be built, their relationship with others to be defined by how they see their parents, their teachers, and people around them interact with others. To learn to respect and honor every other human being will depend on how you treat the least of the human beings around you, because they will learn from you, and through your eyes they see the world that is being revealed to them. Are we conscious enough to daily understand that we have a great power of influence? We shape the country that we live in. That every country is made up of people, and every person is from a household. And every family is responsible for what the country becomes. Because it's the summation of every household that we have, and every community, and every kind of child that we raise out of a school that becomes the kind of adults that lives within a country. Not that sending the kids to school and paying the money excuses the parents from our role. It's a joint venture project. The joint venture of creating the balance of influence in our children's lives. Because sometimes the teacher is the wrong one for influence. Might be the right one to teach maths, or teach English, or teach French, but it's the wrong one for influencing our child. And we need to be accountable and responsible. And when it matters, we must have the courage to get up and speak up. And we can't work against what the teacher does at school. Because when a teacher reprimands a child for bad behavior, and the parent goes to school to insult the teacher and abuse the teacher, then you deserve whatever you get. Because the child you do not allow to be influenced constructively and positively becomes a pain for you and I in the future. Sometimes the right kind of love is hard, unfriendly love. It isn't kind, but it's necessary. And as parents, we need to understand we're the biggest influence in our children's lives if we rise up to the occasion.